Let's start with the feeling that I think we all share right now, a very specific kind of exhaustion. Do you ever look at your phone, scroll through the news or your social feed, and just feel insane? Like the world has completely lost the plot? Maybe you try to talk to a relative at a family gathering, someone you used to respect, and suddenly they are spouting theories that sound completely detached from reality. Or maybe you look at the other side of the political spectrum, whoever that is for you, and you cannot fathom how they can possibly believe what they believe. You don't just disagree with them. You genuinely suspect they might be brainwashed or evil. And here is the strange thing. They feel exactly the same way about you. We are living through a massive paradox. We were promised that the internet would be the ultimate connection machine. The idea in the 90s and early 2000s was beautiful. Give everyone a voice, give everyone access to all human knowledge, and eventually, the truth would rise to the top. We thought that if we could just see each other, we would understand each other. It was supposed to be a global town square. But 20 years into this grand experiment, does it feel like a town square? No. It feels like a gladiatorial arena filled with screaming people, where everyone is wearing noise-canceling headphones playing their own personal soundtrack. We have never been more technologically connected, yet we have rarely felt more culturally divided. We are shouting past each other, unable to agree on basic facts, let alone complex solutions. And it's easy to blame the people. It's easy to say, well, people are just stupid now, or politics has gotten toxic. But what if I told you that this feeling of division isn't a bug in the system? What if it's the main feature? What if the reason everyone else seems crazy is that you are no longer looking at the real world, but rather a heavily edited, psychologically manipulative funhouse mirror designed specifically for you? We need to talk about how we got here, because this didn't happen by accident. It was engineered. To understand this mess, we have to pinpoint the exact moment the internet changed. It happened slowly and then all at once. In the beginning, social media platforms had a very simple model: the chronological timeline. If you followed 100 friends and news pages and you logged in at 5 p.m., you saw everything they posted since you last checked and the order it happened. It was messy, sometimes boring, but it was an accurate reflection of what the people you chose to follow were doing. You were in control of the input. But around a decade ago, the major platforms realized something crucial about their business models. They realized that real life is often boring. If your timeline is just your cousin's mediocre lunch and a dry news article about municipal bonds, you're going to get bored and close the app. And in the attention economy, closing the app is the ultimate sin. These companies do not make money when you are productive or happy or connecting with loved ones offline. They make money only when your eyeballs are locked onto their screen, processing ads. So they made a decision that changed human history. They killed the chronological timeline. They replaced it with the feed. The feed is not a reflection of reality. It is a curated playlist constructed by an algorithm. An algorithm is just a complex set of mathematical rules told to achieve a specific goal. And what is that goal? It's not to inform you. It's not to challenge you. It's not to bring society together. The goal is maximization of engagement. The computer's only job is to figure out, with mathematical precision, what sequence of images and text will keep your thumb moving for just 5 more minutes. This shift from a chronological tool to an algorithmic curator took the control away from you and handed it to a machine designed to exploit human psychology. You are no longer the user of the tool. You are the terrain being mined for attention. So, how does the machine keep you hooked? This is where we have to dive into the uncomfortable truth about our own brains. When these platforms started testing what maximizes engagement, they ran billions of experiments on us without us realizing it. They tested happy content against sad content, complex ideas against simple slogans. And the data came back with a very clear, very dark conclusion about human nature. We say we want balanced, nuanced information. We say we want to hear both sides. But our behavior, what our thumbs actually do, tells a different story. Nuance is boring. Complexity requires cognitive effort, and our brains are lazy. They want to conserve energy. If you see a long, detailed article explaining the economic pros and cons of a trade policy, you are probably going to scroll past it. But what stops the scroll? High arousal emotions. Specifically, outrage, fear, and validation. Think about it like driving on a highway. Thousands of cars drive by safely, and you don't notice them. That's normal life. But if there is a horrific car crash on the side of the road, every single person slows down to look. We can't help it. It's hardwired into our survival instincts to pay attention to danger and conflict. The algorithm figured this out fast. It realized that if it shows you something that makes you angry, you are more likely to comment. If it shows you something that scares you, you are more likely to share it to warn others. If it shows you something that tells you you are right and your enemies are idiots, you get a hit of dopamine, a feeling of righteousness and belonging. So, the system naturally, without any human needing to be evil, started filtering out the boring middle ground and amplifying the extremes. It feeds you a steady diet of digital junk food because that's what keeps you eating. The collaborative filtering effect, but it gets more sophisticated. It's not just throwing random anger at you, it's building a custom-made cage around your mind using a technique called collaborative filtering. This is how it works. Let's say you watch a video from a specific political commentator. The algorithm doesn't just note that, it immediately looks at its massive database of billions of other users. It finds the million other people who also watched that video. Then it asks, what else keeps this specific group of people glued to the screen? It sees that this group also tends to engage heavily with conspiracy theories about topic X or angry rants about topic Y. So, before you know it, your feed starts filling up with those things too. It is constantly grouping you into tribes based on your psychological triggers. It says, people who get angry about this thing also tend to get hooked by that thing. The comfort trap, the filter bubble. And this leads to the most insidious part of the mechanism, the part that truly fractures reality. The algorithm knows that cognitive dissonance, the feeling of holding two conflicting ideas, is uncomfortable. If it constantly showed you reasonable, smart people from the other side, making good points that challenge your worldview, you would feel bad. You might get frustrated. You might close the app. Remember, the algorithm never wants you to close the app. So to keep you comfortable, to keep that dopamine flowing, it starts aggressively hiding the other side. It doesn't just show you what you like, it actively filters out countervailing evidence. If you are on Team A, you will almost never see the best arguments from Team B. You will only see the worst examples of Team B, the craziest extremists, the most embarrassing mistakes, the out-of-context clips designed to make them look like monsters. Why? Because mocking monsters feels good. It strengthens your tribal identity. You end up wrapped in a warm blanket of constant validation, where every post you see confirms what you already suspected, that you are smart, your tribe is righteous, and everyone else is either dangerously misguided or actively malicious. You aren't seeing the world. You are seeing a mirror designed to flatter your own biases. Now, what happens when you apply this mechanism to billions of people across the entire globe for a decade? You get the world we live in today, a world where the fabric of shared reality has dissolved. The primary consequence isn't just that people argue more on the internet. It's vastly more damaging than that. The death of nuance and empathy. First, it destroys nuance. In an algorithmic world, everything must be flattened into a binary, good versus evil, us versus them. There is no room for gray areas because gray areas don't go viral. This trains us to view other human beings as caricatures. When you only see the worst, most extreme version of the other side, you lose the ability to empathize with them. You stop seeing them as complex people with different life experiences that led them to different conclusions. You start seeing them as NPCs, non-player characters, or worse, as enemies that need to be defeated. We are training our brains daily to dehumanize anyone outside our tribe. The corruption of information. Second, it corrupts our entire information ecosystem. Think about the incentive structure this creates for journalists, politicians, and content creators like me. Everyone who wants to be heard knows the rules of the game. We know that if we produce a balanced, moderate, fact-checked piece of content that says, hey, this issue is complicated and both sides have valid points, the algorithm is going to bury it. No one will see it. But if we take a tiny piece of information, strip away the context, blow it out of proportion, and wrap it in an inflammatory headline designed to trigger outrage in one specific group, that is lottery ticket. That goes viral. So, the system rewards the loudest, most divisive voices and silences the moderate ones. We have built an infrastructure where polarization is the most profitable business strategy. The epistemological crisis. This leads us to the deepest impact, an epistemological crisis. That's a fancy way of saying we no longer know how to know what's true. A functioning society requires a baseline reality. We can disagree on opinions, we can disagree on what the tax rate should be or how to fix healthcare, but we used to at least agree on the basic facts of the situation. We used to agree on what happened yesterday. Now, we don't. Imagine two neighbors living next door to each other. A major news event happens in their city. Neighbor A opens their phone. Their feed tells them this event is a tragic consequence of systemic failure, and they see videos supporting that. They feel sad and want reform. Neighbor B opens their phone. Their feed tells them the exact same event is actually a hoax or a false flag operation, or entirely the fault of a specific group of people they already dislike. They see doctored videos or out-of-context clips supporting that. They feel angry and want vengeance. These two people live on the same street in the physical world, but mentally, they are inhabitants of two completely different hostile universes. How can they possibly have a productive conversation? They can't. They don't even speak the same language of facts anymore. When the foundation of truth is fractured like this, democracy becomes almost impossible to sustain. So this is pretty bleak, I know. And usually this is the part of the video where I'm supposed to give you 3 simple tips to break free from the algorithm. You know, set time limits, touch grass, delete the app. And sure, do those things if you can. They help. But I think those solutions are too small for the scale of this problem. You cannot defeat a supercomputer backed by billions of dollars of behavioral psychology research just by using willpower. That's like bringing a knife to a nuclear war. The technology isn't going back in the bottle. We live in this algorithmic world now. So the real solution, the only one that actually matters right now, is cognitive defense. It's about waking up to the manipulation. We need to develop a new kind of instinct, a skepticism not just of what we read, but of how we feel when we read it. The next time you are scrolling and you see a post that makes your blood boil instantly, the next time you read a headline and feel that rush of supreme confidence that you have it all figured out and they are just idiots, the next time you feel a wave of pure, uncomplicated hatred for a stranger or a group of people, stop. Physically stop your thumb, take a breath, and ask yourself the most uncomfortable question possible. Is this emotion genuinely mine? Is this reaction born from my own careful thought and research? Or am I feeling this way because a machine, whose only loyalty is to its shareholders, knew exactly which buttons to push in my brain to keep me engaged as a monthly active user? If your daily reality is being curated by an artificial intelligence designed to exploit your deepest tribal instincts, how much of your own mind is actually left? Don't let the machine think for you.